Hey guys, Youngblood with you, and what we're going to do today is actually talk about PIPs in our second episode of Captain's Log. But before we get into PIPs and what they are and how to use them, I want to follow up on something real quick, specifically the last video. Somebody was asking if there's an easy way to move your shield distribution around, kind of like there was with power. And if you watched the last video, you know I told you that you can use the 1 key to move your power distribution to G1, 2 to G2, 3 to G3, and there is a way to do that with the shield. Now, when you're flying around, you don't need to hit tab or anything, but you can use your number pad keys to actually do this. So if you want all forward shields, you can just hold down the 8, and you'll notice all your shields go to the forward. Hold 2 to bring all your shields to the rear, 4 to move them all to the left, and 6 to move them all to the right. Now, how much effectiveness you're going to have with that is going to be dependent on what type of ship you have and what sort of actual shielding they have. So, for example, a Hornet has 4-part shield. You can move forward, left, right, or back. Something like a 300 series is just going to be forward or backwards. So, hopefully that helps. Let's go ahead and jump into the PIP system. Now, PIP, otherwise known as Predicted Impact Point, are little circles and squares that are going to show up, basically showing you where your rounds should impact the target. Now, in order to get your PIPs, you need to make sure that you have the ship that you're wanting to engage targeted. Now, you're going to have a PIP for every weapon that you actually have on your ship. So, for example, if you have a Hornet, there's going to be a PIP for the Bulldogs and another PIP for the Mantises. Now, you can tell which one is currently firing by which one is pulsing. So, if you're not sure which one is which, just fire your Bulldogs first, and you'll notice that one's kind of pulsing and flashing just a little bit. Now, you're going to know that you're actually landing your shots when there's hit markers appearing on top of those pips, little squares or little X's that go through them. Now, if you have a stationary target or one coming straight at you, or maybe one that's just flying straight away, most of your pips are going to be easy to get on target, and you can really unleash full hell at that point. Now, how you're going to use all this is it's called a lag pip, and it's going to drag behind the target if you have your crosshairs right on them and they're moving. What this is going to let you do is it's going to let you instead put your pip on the target, focusing on that, meaning that if you're using the pip to aim, your guns are going to be out in front, leading the target. That's why when you're looking at these images, you're going to see that the crosshair is actually out in front of the target, but the pips are on target. And that's really going to let you do is it's going to let you predict future location better. It's going to allow you to see what sort of movements they're making since you don't have the big bulky crosshair in the way. And hopefully it's going to allow you to avoid rams a little bit easier because you're focused on those pips instead of that actual crosshair. And when your pip is on the target, it's easier to kind of see what motions they're taking. Now, typically a fixed weapon is going to have a pip that lags far behind that of a gimbaled weapon. Ballistic weapons, like the Mantis, are typically going to lag further behind than of the energy weapon, just because the energy weapons travel faster. What that means, though, is for fast-moving targets, unless you're really close to them, you're going to have a hard time landing all of your weapons at the same time. So what I would suggest is try to pick one pip and land those shots until you're in a position where you can get both pips on target, then unleash everything you've got. Now, that's a lot easier said than done, but it's a good way to save some power and ammo if you can get the hang of it. It's also worth noting that if you have all of the same type of weapon, like 4 Bulldogs on a Hornet, you're going to only have 1 pip, and that's going to make life a lot easier on you. Now, your ship is less diverse in its loadout if you do something like that, but landing the most shots is going to be easier that way. Now, one big benefit to pips, and it's not a huge benefit right now unless you're just some badass ace, but the pips are more clear about where you're actually targeting, and you can target specific parts of a ship. Now, with a joystick or even using track IR, that's still damn hard to do right now. However, it's going to be easier on larger or slower moving vessels. So, if you think about in the persistent universe, wanting to take down the engines of a ship so you can board it, you can put your pip right on the engines. Or maybe there's a turret that's really kind of harassing you and your fleet. If you can kind of target that turret and kind of neuter the ship a little bit just by placing your pip there and firing at that location. The pip system is really going to help us be a little bit more specific, and I think for me it's probably my favorite new development in version 9.2. So there you go, guys. That's going to be it for today. If you have questions about the new pip system, please go ahead and put them in the comments and I'll get to them. If you have other things that you just want to see covered in this Captain's Log series, please put them in the comments and we'll get to them. Got a lot of stuff planned for the series, so stay tuned for a whole lot more of these episodes coming out. Otherwise, have yourselves a wonderful day and take care.